Thank you. I'd just like to take the opportunity once again of thanking everyone who's supported me over the years and continue to support me. So thank you for all the very nice messages, as I've mentioned before, but it won't do any harm to mention it again. I'd just like briefly to perhaps ask people to make every effort to protect our children, the disabled and the defenceless women and men of our country. I think we all have an obligation to do that at this time. The Prime Minister has accepted that the sexual abuse of so many of our vulnerable citizens is endemic in the United Kingdom. We also had a very good speech that many of you will have seen made by John Mann MP in the House of Commons very recently, in which he appeals for the government to take firmer action and states that the terrible problem of sexual abuse will need to be dealt with during this Parliament. Now, the main thing is to say, well, what can I as an individual do about this? And it's a very difficult thing to do, because I'm not asking people to lay their lives on the line necessarily or anything like that, but many people say to me, oh, this is terrible what's happening in our country, somebody should do something. But what you're saying really is somebody else should do something, not me. But we've all got an obligation and duty here. It doesn't matter whether we are religious or not religious, we all have a moral duty to protect our citizens from any kind of awful crime. So what I would strongly urge people to do, if possible, is to write to their MPs, and to write to their MPs not in the House of Commons but at their constituency offices, and ask them what they are going to do in view of the fact that the Prime Minister has made this statement and that a brave MP like John Mann has brought it very forcibly in the House of Commons. It's time for action now. We can't just sit back and let just a few people handle these terrible problems. It really has to be done by us as a country, all those who believe in goodness and protection. There's one thing I would add, and I do get appeals from quite a number of people who come forward to me and say that they have been victims of abuse, but what can they do about it? Because they are very much afraid that if they come forward, there is the prospect of them perhaps being initially ignored, and if they persist, possibly being arrested and charged with any kind of crime, and possibly sectioned, or an attempt to section them. This is happening in our country right now. It's not historic. It's not just going back to Jimmy Savile and Cyril Smith and Greville Janner and all the rest. This is happening right now in our country, and we've got to do something to stop it. We can't allow this to carry on. It's an awful thing. For those of you who do want to come forward and afraid to do so, and you are right to be afraid, because whatever the evidence may be, if you happen to make allegations against certain people who the establishment do not like, or the establishment don't like the sound of the names that some of the people that you have made the allegations against, you are likely to be in trouble with the authorities. The state will give you a hard time. If you are to come forward, I would strongly urge anyone to write to the Home Secretary, Theresa May, for protection against anyone who tries to intimidate you, which can include the police or social services or other authorities. I would ask for a letter before you go to the police from the Home Secretary. And the Home Secretary has an obligation here, because it is she, Theresa May, who a few months ago urged people who had been the victims of sexual abuse to come forward so that they would be listened to. Well, of course, you might be listened to, but not necessarily sympathetically. However, that's what I would urge people to do. But the time has come for action on everybody's part. Everybody who cares about our country, cares about our children. The time for action is now, and everyone has an obligation. Thank you very much.